Hey up, you might wonder where I'm off today, or you might not be interested at all. I'm going to tell you anyway. Just got myself a new tarp and hammock, so I'm off into the woods to give them a go. You might like to join me. If you do, follow along. So, we're not off to a very good start. One of the things I wanted to do was, once I got the hammock up, test some methods to stop water running down inside it when it rains heavy. So I brought a bottle of water with me, just to try that out. Or have I? No. The Muppet's gone and left it at home on the kitchen sink. On the way down here, about 50 yards back, I found a small plastic bottle, Lucasade I think it was, so I propped it up against a tree to carry back with me for recycling. So we're going to take a walk back and see if it's still there. Shouldn't have far to go now, it was only about 50 metres, so it should be up here somewhere. Let's have a look. There we have it. So we've got a bottle, now all we need is water. And that looks like water, a bit murky, but it's first deep water I've seen. You'd think after all the rain it'd be flooded everywhere, but no. So we'll see if we can get this without falling in. Water, good stuff, not for drinking. Here we are. We found a suitable place, and you may notice that I've started carrying a knife. It's illegal to carry a knife, and it can lead to a prosecution and a jail sentence, unless you can justify it, i.e. you're using it for professional purposes or in the pursuit of a hobby like bushcraft. The knife arrived here in the bottom of my rucksack. It's going back in the bottom of the rucksack. Just be aware, to argue this with the police could be a grey area. I'm not going mad. Measuring the distance should be 4 paces or 4.5 ideally. Might be a bit short this, but we'll give it a go. Get the tarp out and see what happens. So as you'll notice, the hammock bit seems to be going alright, but where's the tarp, you may ask? I may ask myself the same thing as well. Cock up number 2. You see, it says here, very clearly, super light tarp. And what have I got? Bag full of string and bungees. All we've got to do is get the hammock out, and to protect it from the elements it's got what we could call a snake skin over the top of it, which keeps it nice and dry until you get it underneath your imaginary tarp, and then you can remove this and reveal the hammock itself. So, let's sit down and hope for the best. Makes a lovely little chair. So the moral of the story is, always check your equipment thoroughly before you go out into the wilds for real. At least now I've realised I've swapped my tarp bag and I'm using it to keep guy ropes in. Muppet. Out in the woods, for once, I can honestly say this is lovely. Okay, I've finally got my lazy backside off the bed. I'm going to get my thermarest and my sleeping bag and see how they fit, and then give it a go for real. So, got the mat in, got the sleeping bag in. It only leaves me to stop tripping up over my shoelaces, get my boots off, which is why I put that plastic bag down to stand into. Should be straightforward. I mean, been getting into bed for many years on my own since I was a child. Whoa. Gotta get that leg in. Not quite as easy as it looks. Right, got my feet in the bag. Problem is that the bag's slid down the back here. Hang on. Sort of in, but we're not in. Right. The bag's fallen down the back, right. I'm going to go away and think about this and do a take 2. While you've been away, I've been putting the old little grey brain cells into gear, and I finally figured out the easiest way to do it. Get in the damn bag before you start. So we'll get in here. Put that up there. Zip ourselves in. And then in we go. What could be simpler than that? A bit more practice needed, I think. Now we come to the final test of the day, which is why we needed the water. When it rains, although we're underneath the tarp, that's if we've remembered the tarp, the water still runs down this strap here, from the tree onto the strap and straight into your sleeping bag. And the idea is to put something in the way to try and divert the water. Some people suggest putting knots in your line here. Some people suggest using prusik knots, which is these 2 little bits of paracord tied on in a certain way to allow the water to drop down, hopefully. And I just come up with the idea, after looking through the kitchen, of using some of these bag clips to see if they'll divert the water. So we'll give it a go and see what happens. So the first knot's dripping. It's now got down to the second knot, the prusik knot. That seems to be diverting it really well. soaking down into the second prusik knot, but most of it's running off. I haven't really got enough water to test everything, so we'll come down a little bit further and see how the plugs work. Or the bag clips, should I call them, not plugs. Well, they didn't work very well, so we can discount them because the water's just gone through into the bag there. We'll take them off. Use the last of the water just to test this out a bit further. So I think in a reasonably heavy downpour, a couple of knots, maybe 3 if we have a longer piece here, and a couple of these, 2 or 3 of these, seem to work well. Hopefully I won't be waking up with a soggy sleeping bag. So, what have you learnt today? Well, the most important lesson you should have learnt is, if you like the great outdoors, you like camping, buy yourself a caravan. Oh, and remember, check that it's up to the back of your car before you leave home.